it's multiple national guys now saying this, right? It's Pelissero, not Pelissero. It's Schefter. It's Breer. It's
It's
Rappaport.
Rappaport.
Three national guys now giving you all the same stuff. And this is the other thing. There's an expression in coaching, Grant. You're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If the 49ers had a problem with any of this, they could stop it. Kyle Shanahan can call up KMBR or John Lynch can call up KMBR anytime he wants and say, put me on the air right now. And he could say, hey, I've seen these reports. We're tired of all this false information.
Yeah.
Brock is the starter. Trey is the 2. Darnold's learning the system. That's the end of it. And he could hang up the phone. Doesn't even have to take questions.
Right.
But they're not doing that. Yeah, they sort of pushed back to Ian Rappaport, according to him. And then 2 weeks later, he was saying the exact same thing. But why are they okay with people thinking that Lance could be the 3? Even if they just want to trade him, they should be stopping.
What's crazy is, like, if they wanted him to work out still, if they still had a hope that he could work out, then they wouldn't leak negative stuff about him. They would be trying to, speak it into existence that he's good. If they really totally lost hope on him and wanted to trade him, they wouldn't leak negative stuff. You would say positive stuff because you're trying to build trade value so you can trade him. So this decision, if I'm correct, that they're going to whisper negative stuff, it's just to cover their own asses. If that's what they're doing, it's not in the organization's best interest. It's not in Trey's best interest. And Jed, John, and Denise should step in and do something, because these are guys covering their asses at this point for making a very, very large mistake.
And I don't know why they are choosing whatever path they want to go. If they're determined to trade Trey Lance, they're still doing the wrong thing.
Correct.
If they want
That's
to
it.
Trey Lance to make it work out, they're doing the wrong thing. So
it's unprofessional. If they're doing what they're doing, it's unprofessional, and there's no rationale for it other than self-preservation. And I don't think these media people should be helping in that effort. Like, you don't work for them. You're not on their payroll.
Gregus Khan says, what proof do you have that the 49ers are
I have none.
Well, who else would be leaking it?
I have none. It's just interesting that Rappaport, Schefter, and Breer have the same exact opinion. And they're all the guys who have the most contacts in the league. So what? Did they just go to a conference and be like, all right, none of us know anything about the Niners, so let's just agree that we're going to speculate like this and just have each other's backs on? Maybe they did that. Maybe they had a special Zoom meeting.
Right. Like, who else is leaking this? You think that Sam Darnold's people are leaking it? In theory, that's possible. But I think it's far more likely that people inside the 49ers are saying, hey, we really like Sam Darnold. And don't forget, also, don't just look at these reports. Look at what else has happened. They ran out and got Darnold on the first day of legal tampering. They were aggressively hunting Sam Darnold. And Kyle has said, I've liked him. I always like him. Sure, he threw some interceptions, but those weren't his fault, apparently, for some reason. So when you combine all of those things, who else do you think we're going to think the story is coming from except the 49ers?
Yeah, again, I have no idea. I'm just guessing, or I'm asking you guys to guess. We're putting all the facts out there. If you had to guess, are these guys independently coming to the same opinion? Or do you think there's someone in the Niners leaking to them? I don't know. What do you guys think? You tell me. I don't know. This is interesting.
I'm just stunned that people, and then the other thing is, Rappaport doesn't have any sources inside the 49ers. These guys don't know. They said the word I think. That just means it's their opinion. No. Do you think that they just decided one day to have this opinion, or do you think that they've talked to a bunch of people and formed their opinion based on what they've been told?
Well, I think what's complicated about this, again, is that the Niners might not be in lockstep. I don't think that Rappaport or Schefter or Breer has talked to Kyle about this. And that's what makes the Niners interesting. Like, he's the whole team. He's the GM. He's the front office. But they have GMs and front office people who are kind of like there to guide Kyle or do what Kyle wants. So if you have a source in the Niners front office, that's great. That sounds, he's close to Kyle, but he's not Kyle. And that's why I want, all those people got it wrong about Mac Jones. They were so certain it was going to be Mac Jones. Yeah, but Kyle makes that call, and Kyle doesn't want to talk about it.
Isn't it on Kyle to stop that then, to go to those other people and say, cut this out? This isn't helping us. Yeah. You're making it harder for us. Why hasn't he done that?
Well, he's not the greatest leader, Rob. We've talked about it. I do feel like he does certain things really well, but in terms of just leading the organization, I mean, he could put a stop to this right now. Unless I'm misreading this. It's maybe I don't get it, man. It seems like he's been at odds with John Lynch and the front office about what to do with the quarterback position for years, and he isn't a tug of war as opposed to just putting his foot down and saying, this is my team and anyone that doesn't like my direction needs to leave? I don't understand.
I really think that his dislike of the media is so great. He doesn't think any of it matters. And it does
fair.
matter. It really does. It's not everything, but it does matter. And I feel like he doesn't understand that because he has no patience or value for any of that.
Right. Theoretically, if there are two factions in the Niners front office, Kyle and everyone else, and the everyone else faction is getting their story out there somehow, some way, and all the biggest reporters in the industry are giving their side of the story, well, Kyle might eventually want to get his side of the story out somehow. So, Kyle, you want to talk to me? Let's do it, baby.
Snoopy Cortez says, how does it matter? It matters for a variety of things. It matters because players are watching, players are listening. They hear all of this stuff, right? You think it's going to be easy for Trey Lance to win over the locker room if he does have to play when the Niners have been leaking crap about him all offseason constantly? You think that's going to make his job easier, or you think it's going to make his job harder? It's going to make his job harder.
I also don't understand, like Kyle, Kittle, a bunch of people, when you ask about Trey, they're like, man, he's way better. They all said that all offseason. He's way better.
Best he's ever looked.
I guess that means he wasn't as great last year, but he is confident. He's having fun. He looks a lot better. And then you have people who aren't there, aren't watching practice, didn't see OTAs or minicamp saying, yeah, I mean, I think we all can assume that Sam Darnold's going to start week 1 and that Trey's going to be third in the depth chart. It's like, well, what about that stuff that they just said? Like, why would they even say that? Why would they even say that if it wasn't true? You don't have to say stuff like that. Is that their attempt to pump up his trade value, say he looks better, and then drop him down to third on the depth chart? Like, people are going to look at your actions, not your words. What are you doing?
I think that Kyle needs to recognize that. I think he thinks like all I got to do is win and everything will take care of itself. But again, you're putting yourself up on that tightrope because guess what? If you don't, it's like Bill Belichick, right? He was a jerk to the media. He's been a jerk to the media. He's always been a jerk to the media. But guess what? When you're an unstoppable winning machine, you can get away with that. Now that Tom Brady is gone and the Patriots aren't winning like that, there's a lot of heat on Bill Belichick. He may get fired if they don't make the playoffs this year. There is no tolerance for that kind of stuff because you're not winning anymore.
Yeah, it's the thing. You can always act like this when you're in NFC Championship games, but the minute you're not, look at Harbaugh. He was real. He had his chest puffed out for 3 years. He was Teflon. Went to 3 straight NFC Championship games. He had 1 8-8 year, and his own organization was like, "Dude, we're so tired of you. So tired." Go to Michigan. Yeah, please go to Michigan.
With 500, and they made 3 straight NFC Championship games, made a Super Bowl, and they were like, "You're fired for Jim Tom Sula."
Yeah. That's how much we don't like working with you. So I think Kyle saw that, is smart, probably is a lot easier to work with among the ownership than Jim was. Still, though, I mean, let's see what happens. I think there's a lot of resentment that the Niners haven't won a Super Bowl yet. And I think a lot of Niner fans are like, it's okay. They're going to win one soon. If they have a down and out year, Niner fans are going to be like, wait a second. Did we actually miss this window? Did we really miss this window? But they're not there yet. They could win this year. They have McCaffrey. They got a really good team. They could go 14-3. We'll see what happens.
Justin Lomker says, anti-media like Bonds. Media is attacking him now. Attacking who? Kyle? I don't think we're attacking him. I think we're pointing out. I mean, we just said that the Niners do so much well. This is the thing that they don't do well. That's not attacking somebody. That's just analyzing their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. Also, I don't think Kyle took performance-enhancing drugs. Allegedly.
No, Kyle's head is still normal sized. As far as we know, it hasn't increased in size like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
So this is
saw
where
Barry Bonds in person one time when I was like 14, 2002. My dad took me to spring training, and you get there really early when you're a reporter. So I'm just sitting in I was a kid sitting in the stands waiting for the players to come out. Like, it wasn't even batting practice yet. And I feel someone walk past me and like walk onto this. It's Barry Bonds. And he was I've never seen a back that big. 2002 Barry Bonds. It was just like the broadest back I'd ever seen. I was 14 years old, but I was like, he's way larger in person than he looks on the television screen. Like, I'll never forget. He looked like a blimp. He's huge. Freaking huge.
People, we don't get a sense of that because they're only ever around other huge people. So generally we're like, oh, okay. But then when you see them in person around regular sized humans, I'll never forget the two guys physically that like literally, actually three guys that weirded me out the most. One was Jason Taylor. To see Jason Taylor in person, he's super tall. He is so cut. I was physically afraid like this man could just dismantle me. The other guy was Jerome Bettis because he looks like he's got a body like SpongeBob SquarePants. Like he's a rectangle and he's huge. And I just was like, how can anybody ever tackle this guy? And the third guy was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know who the tallest guy you've ever been around was. It's physically. I've been around
Kareem because I went to UCLA. He used to go to all the home games and they'd give him a standing. He would do a standing ovation. He was great. But yeah, that's what I want to say. Basketball players. I covered the Warriors for a few years at the PD. Like they look normal on TV because they're all standing around each other. But then you go in the post game locker room and it's like the tallest people you've ever seen. Like they're ducking in a regular room, just walking around. Like Stephen Curry is a giant. Stephen Curry is way taller than you think. Like you think he looks small on TV? Nah, man, he's taller than everyone on the 49ers minus a couple of people.
Right.
And Clay's taller than everyone on the Niners. Like Clay's taller than Clay's as tall as Eric Armstead.
No, is he really?
They're 6'7".
He's 6'7".
You think of Clay as being like maybe they're probably pretty similar. Maybe Clay's 6'7" in sneakers.
No, he's 6'2". Steph is 6'2".
Steph is 6'2".
Eric Armstead.
No, I meant Clay. I said Clay. Clay is the same height. Clay.
Oh,
Clay.
Okay,
Clay.
I misunderstood.
And then you got Andrew Wiggins, who's literally taller than anyone on the 49ers.
Yeah, they are absolutely massive. Kareem, like my brain was like, brace for attack. Like this is not normal. He's so much taller than a regular person. When you were literally standing next to him and you have to look all the way up, your brain is like, this is just be aware of. Just watch him constantly because he may attack.
And then you got football players who really look like normal people. A bunch of people who are 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1". Couple dudes who are taller than you. But, I mean, they're all in, like, the greatest shape of all time. So you don't really relate. But it's like, they're kind of normal, especially the ones who weren't drafted in round one. They're basically normal guys who work really hard and have great, athletic ability. But they're relatable somehow.
Right. So that's just a weird aside that I wanted to mention. We got a couple super chats that I want to get to. Thomas De La Cruz says, which quarterback will get the majority of snaps in the preseason? I think it's going to be Sam. I don't think they're going to play Brock. I mean, Mayoko reported that Brock probably won't be cleared until just before the third preseason game. And they want Sam to win the competition for QB2. That's the thing that I think is clear. And so in order to do that, they're going to put him in position to get snaps in the preseason. And I think they're kind of going to do what they did with Trey at the beginning of last year, which is like, if he has a good throw and a good play, get him out.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like if you want to trade Trey Lance and you don't want him to play for you this year, then why would you give him all the snaps in preseason just to get some quarterback who's not going to be on your team ready for the year? So I think they got to maybe that's why this, I don't know, man. It just seems like if whoever they want to start week one needs to be getting these reps. So it should be Trey. It should be Trey because they said he's better now.
And you got to face the friggin' Steelers in week one. You need all the reps you can get, man. That's not going to be easy.
I just keep falling back on the fact that I think these leaks are not coming from Kyle. If I had to guess, I don't know where they're coming from, but I don't think they're coming from Kyle. And I think Kyle we've seen, he doesn't really feel the need to correct people. He explained this whole thing during the Mac Jones saga. He was like, yeah, I knew people thought I was going to take Mac. I wasn't going to take Mac. I let people think it. So if he's feeling the same way, yeah, like I understand everyone thinks I like Sam Darnold better than Trey. I'm going to let people think that.
But there's no value in that now. Like I could see why doing that during the draft, because like no one ever wants anybody to know who they're going to pick. There's value in that, right. But this isn't the same situation, Kyle. This is not that. This is just people just crapping on a guy that if you still like him, like you're just letting him get knocked around in the media. So right. I hope you realize.
And Vish made this point too. Like I understand Brock blew the doors off, and it's not nothing against Trey. It's just Brock's so good. Well, then why is Trey competing with Sam Darnold? Like, that's a different thing. It'd be one thing if there was like, look, we like Trey, but Brock's amazing, but something must have happened. You must have lied about how you felt about Trey for him to be in a dead heat with Sam Darnold. You must have fibbed about that one.
Because again, go back and look at everything that they have said about Trey Lance. They've claimed nothing has changed with Trey Lance, that they like him.
He was just hurt.
As they always have.
Finger injury. Injury. Yeah.
That it was only the injury. Kyle Lynch literally said nothing has changed now except he's healthy. Like All right, then. So he shouldn't be in a competition with Sam Darnold because you thought this guy was going to be your franchise quarterback. You handed him the job after getting to the NFC Championship game with somebody else. So that's why, again, the actions don't match up with what they are saying. Fire the Great says, just to ruffle feathers, Kyle is a glorified offensive coordinator with a head coach title. He's 50% offensive coordinator to 10% head coach, 40%. Well, at least it adds up. He got a lot of credit just for being a head coach in a title. Head coach in title, excuse me, but the only thing he offers is a play sheet. I disagree.
He offers more than that. He does have a lot of good position coaches that trust him and work for him. And as a head coach, it's nice to be able to have him as an offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's not necessarily a traditional head coach, but he does have a good offensive coordinator.
And he really does. The locker room loves him. They've loved him no matter what.
They play hard for him. They definitely play hard for him. It's true. He's got a lot going for him. There's just that one thing. That one thing. Yeah.
It's just a big thing. Like in Meet the Parents. I missed one shot. It was a big shot.
It's a big shot.
Fokker. Official BNA Music says, it's okay for some 49ers content creators to feed negative and borderline bigoted narratives about Trey Lance, and fans are okay with it, but telling truth about Kyle is blasphemy. Shaking my head, hi, Grant. I mean, I don't know which content creators you're talking about feeding bigoted narratives about Trey Lance. I don't know. It's not okay to feed bigoted narratives about anybody for any reason. It does seem like with Trey, like the thing that, what is it? The Trey sexuals, people that support Lance get called. Like, what is, I don't get that
disgusting thing to say.
Yeah. Like, what is the, why is it that? Like, why do we have to take it there? That's just a really weird place for it to go.
Yeah. And it is interesting though. Like, you're free to criticize Trey Lance as much as you want online. Doesn't matter that he's thrown 100 passes. Doesn't matter that he just turned 23. Like, it's open season on Trey Lance. It is Trey Lance season. You know, in Looney Tunes, it's rabbit season. It's been Trey Lance season. Like, you can't really say anything about Kyle Shanahan without getting met with like a ton of resistance. Like, saying Kyle Shanahan isn't a great coach is like saying Michael Jordan isn't the greatest basketball player of all time. You'll get hella people that will spend their whole day on Twitter explaining why you're wrong. They don't even know you. And he has that kind of support. No one supports Trey Lance. Like, 7 people support Trey Lance. It's Jesse Naylor, Ryan Hensley, David Lichty. Like, that's you, me. I mean, it's like 7 people. That's it. So I think that's what BNA Music 88 was talking about.
Fellow American, Rob is a loser. Sam is a bust. Brock or Trey gives us hope. Wake up. Sam is a good backup / number 2.
Yeah, loser. Fellow American. I like that.
Is that Sam Darnold?
You seem like a nice fellow.
Aniket Herwood Carr. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Niners gave into the locker room and kept Jimmy. Can it be the same with Trey? He seems to be winning the team's confidence unless Trey craps out in training camp. I don't know if he's winning the team's confidence.
I mean, let's see the next time he gets to go to like a Giants game with George Kittle, right? Let's see next time that happens. I don't know.
Would be really interesting. What do you think the reaction would be?
Heads would explode. I keep going back that Kyle hasn't said nothing. I don't care what Breer and Schefter think they know about the Niners quarterback situation. They thought that the Niners were going to take Mac Jones. All these leaks started then. These leaks started then. I don't think there is one united front in the Niners front office. You could hear something from the Niners front office. You could hear, hey, we're taking Mac Jones. Hey, we don't like Trey Lance. Yeah, did you hear that directly from Kyle? Because unless you did, you didn't talk to the guy who is the decider here on the 49ers. The brain trust is Kyle and his pops, and I don't know how much they reveal to anyone else.
I agree with you that Kyle's opinion is the one that matters most, but I don't like when people do that, what you just did, when they say, well, they didn't know the 49ers weren't going to take Mac Jones, because that's the thing that everybody goes to the second an insider comes out with a report that they don't like. So they just ignore it because, they were wrong on this one thing. Fair. So that means they have to be wrong about everything.
I'm grouping them together because I'm looking them in the genre of 49ers quarterback leaks that could be inaccurate. That's the way I'm looking at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not related. But these are the people that were dead set that the Niners were going to draft Mac Jones. This is when the leaks started. Now these are an extension of that story, of those leaks. And it's the same people saying they're out on Trey. They're out on Trey. He's 3rd in the depth chart. They're going to get rid of him. Like, okay, you didn't think they were going to go on Trey to begin with, so maybe your sources aren't necessarily Kyle. Maybe Kyle's playing you again. again. I mean, I think Kyle's probably a little upset that everyone pinned him on Mac Jones 2 years ago, and I think he's got some scores to settle. And if these guys want to do it again, he might be like, all right, let's see you guys be wrong again. Go ahead, keep saying it. I don't know. I want Kyle to do that because otherwise, I even like him less.
Should that be your primary concern if you're Kyle
No.
Shanahan? Sticking it to the next.
But he's a troll, right? He's a bit of a troll.
He kind of is a little bit.
He is kind of a bit of a troll.
I think he does. I think he did enjoy the fact that all these guys are wrong. Ha ha. You don't know what you're talking about. He has disdain for the media. He clearly does. So if that's his focus, like that's annoying. Like
I think he feels like everyone wants to talk about this quarterback situation. It's ultimately his decision. He hasn't made one yet. And since he's waiting to make a decision, all these people who want attention and clicks and views are preempting and saying, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And Kyle's like, oh, really? You're going to pretend like you know? You haven't talked to me. All right, noted. I don't like you. I don't like you. You're cool. I don't like you. You know what I mean? Like he's, okay, got you. Rappaport, Breer, Schefter. Like, all right, I'm going to let this play out so the whole world freaking knows that you're not that freaking. It's what Rodgers did a few months ago. Like, who wants to report about me? Oh, you don't do it, Schefter. I'm going to tell everyone you don't know. Don't do it because you don't know me. I'm going to give it to this guy because I like him. Like, I just feel like Kyle would do the same exact thing that Rodgers would do. They're similar.
Oh, man.
They're similar.
We have a modern Dungy, great roster builder, can't get the ring. When does Jed look for the next Gruden? This team has so much talent not to get to the Super Bowl. You can look for the next.
I don't think Jed would do it. I might do it. Eddie might do it. I don't think Jed would do it. I don't think his parents would do it. I don't think they're that confident in themselves to find an upgrade. I don't think they are.
He shouldn't do it, for the record. Sometimes you look for the next Gruden and you get Norv Turner. And guess what?
That's true.
Then you're in a terrible spot because then you've got a terrible coach and you're worse off than you were before you made the move.
If you did make the move to another coach, you have to be certain that he could find a solution to the quarterback position. That's what you're hiring. You're not hiring a defensive coach. You're not hiring a D-line coach. You have to be right about that. And if you bring a guy in and he has a track record of working with quarterbacks and he fails here, then you freaking blew it. But if he can actually get that position right, then he can sort of take all the great work that Kyle Shanahan's done and build off of it. And Kyle will get credit. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy would not just come in on, to scorched earth the way Kyle Shanahan did. He'd be finishing a job that's like 95% done. But my whole question is, I don't know that Kyle Shanahan can finish the final 5%. And if he can't, year after year, for the same freaking reason, then it's on the Yorks to try to find someone who has a solution to that spot. And I don't know that they can find that. It's hard. Not that many people can really scout the quarterback position and develop it. It's hard. Bill Walsh can do it. Andy Reid can do it. How many guys can really do it? It's hard.
And I agree with that sentiment. I don't think we're at that point with Shanahan.
No. We're not. Of course not. But I just want to say, dude would be worth a lot in a trade. A lot. A whole lot.
Yeah. Massive haul.
Yeah. I'm saying. A lot of people might want to coach Nick Bosa. And that's the thing. When Harbaugh got fired, no one wanted this job. No one wanted the Harbaugh. Like, a bunch of people retired. Patrick Willis retired. Justin Smith retired. Like, the team kind of fell apart. Maybe the Niners would do that if they got. Maybe Trent Williams would retire, but Nick Bosa's not going anywhere. Fred Warner isn't going anywhere. It's still a good ass team. I think coaches want to coach it.
We thought that about Patrick Willis though, and he retired too.
That's true.
So
that is
true.
Knows? At 30, he was like, Jim Tom who? No, I don't know. No.
Yeah, I'm out. Shreddy Murphy says, Trey will play after Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold get hurt, but will it look bad like Josh Johnson in the NFC Championship game? I mean, it would have been interesting if Josh Johnson didn't fumble the damn snap before halftime in the NFC. You know, to say that. All right. That's going to do it for this edition of the show. Please like and subscribe to Grant's YouTube channel, which, let's be honest, most of you are. Please like and subscribe to the Gold Standard Podcast YouTube channel. Please, please, please check out our website, goldstandardniners.com. Grant, what do you got coming up the rest of the day?
Nothing. I'm done streaming, but I'll be posting stuff. I'll be around.
I feel like
it's the off season, man. You got to work. You got to do less. Florian Fool 23 had one at the very end saying,
nope.
I think the front office saw from the start that Trey's timeline doesn't add up.
But they should have been able to see that before he was drafted.
Well, I think what he's saying is that the front office saw it and Kyle didn't. I don't know if Kyle and his dad thought, like, actually, he did really well in this S2 cognition test. He's really smart. He played under center in college. I think he's game ready. Like, no, dude. Like, 300 throws. And I don't know that Kyle really really understood what a big deal that was. Now he does.
420 passes in a live game setting since 2016.
Rough.
Whew, man, we've never seen it before.